Working Man Radio with your host, Joe Lyles.
And welcome back. Good to see you. We took that week off and did a lot of good work, a lot of good thinking. We got an announcement to make. Back by popular demand, we are bringing back the Rush Limbaugh Lie of the Day. We're going to incorporate that into the show, but it is coming back. The Rush Limbaugh Lie of the Day. If you are one of those who used to listen to it and used to like it, you will hear it again right here on Working Man Radio. So what was Barney Frank talking about the other night? He was talking, by the way, well, he was talking about, he was taking some heat about the banks. Bailing out the banks. You hear a lot of people talking about bailing out the banks. They don't like bailing out the banks. The Occupy Wall Street folks, who I generally sympathize with. By the way, I found out where all that put your hands up if you like it and put your hands down if you don't, and they all these symbols and stuff that they do. That's the Quakers. I showed my film at a Quaker meeting one night. It wasn't really a Quaker meeting. It was the Quaker meeting house. And I showed it there, and I was talking to this guy, and I learned that that's where all that Occupy Wall Street sign language and a lot of their culture comes from the Quakers. Didn't know that. But at any rate, this woman was Occupy Wall Street was there giving Barney Frank out because they don't like the bailout of the banks. Another group of people, interestingly enough, that doesn't like the bailout of the banks are the Tea Parties, the Tea Partiers, the Tea Baggers. They don't like the bailout of the banks. How come? Why don't you like the bailout of the banks? This is one of those things that I never understood. I asked a guy, I said, were we just supposed to let the financial system collapse? And he said, yes. Yes, that's what we were supposed to do. Let the financial system collapse. Let's just have another round of the Great Depression. Let's have soup kitchens. Right? Because, we have not had a banking collapse in 75 years. 80 years. We have not had a crisis, a banking crisis in 80 years. I mean, there were runs on the banks. They had a bank holiday the day after Franklin Roosevelt took office in 1933 to stop a run on the banks, and we have not had that since then. But they were talking. They were talking about the possibility of this in September 2008. Runs on the banks. About a major financial system collapse that would have destroyed the American economy. And there are people from the Occupy Wall Street on the left to the Tea Party on the right who want this. And you have to ask yourself, well, why do you want this? What do you want? And the answer is these are people, and it's on both sides, and it's a lot of people that I talk to. People who are not in charge. So why do they want to let the banks collapse? Because it's in all the chaos, it's an opportunity for these people. Political people think that they are the Supermen. They think they are the ones that they think they are the masters of the universe. And if you're a political person and you're shoveling shit somewhere, well, clearly the universe is misaligned. You are not in your rightful position. Right? And I just told you, people tell me I'm not in my rightful position. What with all this framing and good political philosophy and knowledge of economics and knowledge of how to use language and how to use words and blah, all this kind of stuff. And Joe, goddamn, they ought to have you up in Washington. But they don't. And if I had an ego, and believe it or not, I don't. I know, I look like I do, but I don't. Here's a fact for you. It's a fact I tell myself. I'll tell it to you. 100 years from now, ain't nobody gonna know you were even here. And 100 years from now, ain't nobody going to know I was here or anybody else. And all the big shots up in Washington, they ain't nobody going to know they were here. Barack Obama, 100 years from now, people will know he was here. Not hardly, if almost nobody else up there. I mean, the truth of the matter is that we live in an immense universe and an immense time scale, and we are flies buzzing around a horse's ass. And that's the truth. So I don't worry about my rightful place. I look at the world and I say, how can the world be made better? If I can make the world better, then that's something that might live longer than me. But making me better, that's just a fool's errand as far as I'm concerned. And that's the whole point. These are people who think that they think the world has passed them by and they need to be in charge. Maybe if we had a general collapse, maybe in the chaos, they could emerge as the new leaders. And most of these people are, for whatever reason, dysfunctional people who have no business leading or managing anything. The plain truth is that most people are, the plain truth is that, in terms of self-government, being a self-governing democracy, most people are completely up to the task of voting for decent leaders and voting for decent policies and understanding what's going on well enough to make reasonably informed decisions about it. I know you think that everybody's stupid, but people are made stupid. We have institutions, and we have institutions, and we have operations and functions in society that dumb people down. But people can figure out what's what. They want the banking system to collapse so it will create an opportunity for them to rise from their present position. And they don't give a shit how many people go hungry, how much starvation there is, how much upheaval there is, how many riots there are, it's just an opportunity for them to go out and join the Civil War. They can't wait for the Civil War to happen because they're stuck. They're stuck, and they perceive a way to get unstuck. And the interesting thing about it is that, and depending on who you are, but the Tea Parties in particular, they think they're stuck because of people who have less than power than they do, who are more stuck than they are. They look down to blame the people under them instead of looking up. Not realizing that it is the people who have the power who are responsible for creating the world you live in, not the people who don't.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. You've been listening to Working Man Radio with Joe Lyle at joelylesradio.com.